Hi everyone, Kettering Rofin here once again with my next video for you guys. Hope y'all enjoyed day one of the Pennsylvania reunion tour. That was the first time that a bunch of us had gotten together for a big trip since the pandemic started. Because I might not have pointed this out last year, but it was just me, my brother, and Daniel who made the trip to the Pittsburgh line last year. So this is really the first time since April of last year that a lot of us had gotten together. But anyway, today's video focuses on the west slope between Altoona and Johnstown. So hope y'all enjoy day two. We started the day on the 17th Street Bridge in Altoona, just slightly west of the Amtrak station. I think that signalman had been working on the switch and the relay box off to the right, but I'm not too sure about that. What I did know was that the train coming up on us was the Hollidaysburg local, which I believe is symboled HI-10, but feel free to correct me if that isn't the case. What interested all of us was the Jeep slug set combo leading this thing. This was the first time we had seen Jeeps lead pretty much anything in quite a while, since our locals down south have pretty much become the domain of SD60Es and SD40-2s sandwiched in the middle of the consist. Almost the moment HI-10's power got under the bridge, the action intensified as westbound empty oil train 65K technically raced him on the next track over, although the local was taking a branch line and the oil train was staying on the main. Our position on the bridge allowed us to catch this cool zipper effect as both trains headed west. Probably one of the coolest shots I've gotten to date. We held position on the west side of the bridge just in time to see the Pennsylvanian coming east for its Altoona stop. Those of you with sharp eyes will note that this was the same consist we had shot the day before at Crescent headed west to Pittsburgh. Considering they're pretty much the only train on this part of the line between New York and Pittsburgh, it only makes sense for them to have two sets, so this one made the return run today. As the train went by, we got a good look at the 1915 built Alto Tower, still standing, albeit out of service. We repositioned to the east side of the bridge not long after for the next train, which was another oil train, 67E, which oddly had some mixed freight thrown in. What we didn't realize was that they had a BNSF engine second of two, something we're not used to seeing since foreign power is a rare occurrence both here and back home. They pulled up just short of the bridge and stopped. I presumed they were waiting on clearance behind either the oil train or behind the Pennsylvanian while the switches were being relined. And we got a good look at that ES-44C4 second out in BNSF H3. However, in short order, everything was cleared up, and 67E continued their westward trek to Chicago.
today's episode of Where the Ever-Living Crap Did That Come From?
Some of you may remember I mentioned in the last two videos that I've had to cut some footage of some trains because they're either long, slow, or both, as in the case of 67E, which took almost 11 minutes to get up to speed and out of town, so I cut out about 5 minutes worth of video from that. In that time, however, I moved down on the ground to get a different angle with the helpers. And during this time, it was decided that we would leapfrog the train up to Lily to get it at speed on the bridge up there. Took advantage of the train's slow speed and leapfrogged them up to Lily, where we found a track truck working on the rightmost main. 67E came up pretty quick, having picked up a lot of speed since cresting the hill a little bit back to the east at Crescent. The access road you see in between tracks 1 and 2 was actually the original grade for the original track 2, which was removed sometime in the 1980s. We decided not to move because there was another train coming up on track 3. This time it was 21G, the same train we saw the day before at Horseshoe Curve with the SD70 ACU leader. Nothing glamorous today, just a pair of wide cab AC44C6Ms doing the honors. After 21G cleared, we made our way west to the observation point at Cassandra, but we arrived just a little too late and missed the head end of loaded coal train 592 headed for Baltimore. After 592, I moved over to the west side and set up for 20T, an eastbound intermodal headed for Harrisburg. Not long after 20T passed, our little group found out that 21J was coming west with one of Norfolk Southern's heritage engines out front, and that got us pretty hyped up for the rest of the day. Not long after that, 66E came pounding east, putting on a great show as they came under the footbridge at the overlook. I didn't notice this until later when I was doing the research of this video, but 66E is the loaded eastbound sister of that 67E we shot at Altoona and Lilly. First time I've seen two partner oil trains of any kind, much less on the same day. We moved west to Summerhill after 66E, and almost immediately, empty coal train 593 came up on us. We continued that partner train trend from Cassandra, as 593 is the empty westbound sister of the 592 that we partially missed at the overlook. After the helpers went by, all fell silent for about 20 minutes. We waited those 20 minutes out, but it seemed like an eternity until 1422 when 21J finally showed up with a sparkling Central of Georgia Heritage unit doing the honors headed west. The action intensified again as eastbound loaded coal Y90 snuck through behind 21J's loaded trailer cars. This is an extra symbol of 590 that runs to Baltimore. After the meet, I decided to try my luck and move up onto the bridge, and I set up on the east side for yet another westbound oil train. This time it was 67X. In a testament to just how busy this line can be, eastbound intermodal 22W came pounding up track 2 not 2 minutes after the oil train cleared. We scooted west into South Fork and set up on a part of the road that overlooked both the main line and the South Fork secondary that serves a couple coal mines on a branch line. We set up here for Trash Train 63V, which is the westbound counterpart of the 62V we had shot the day before at Crescent. As you can see, down there in the curve, the South Fork Secondary breaks off to the left and runs all the way to Windber, Pennsylvania, serving a couple coal mines. We did make it to Johnstown, but all we found there was a stopped mixed freight and a really ugly thunderstorm. That storm ended up chasing us all the way back to Crescent, and with the westbound and eastbound parades starting, we just decided to set up camp there. We arrived to find eastbound Autorack train 18N getting the start out of town, this time with a lot more auto racks than the day before at Horseshoe Curve. Again, I had to cut some footage out, and we missed the head end, so this is only like the back half of the train. Next up at MO was 23M, with a white striped -9 leading another -9 and a C6M. Second day in a row I've seen one of these things lead, and personally I'm not complaining with how scarce they are nowadays. Later, it was our fifth and last oil train of the day, 65E. If I'm being honest, seeing 5 oil trains in one day was one of the coolest parts of this trip to me. Having lived in an area where our only oil train had been abolished for about 2 years, getting to see this many in a single day was a nice change. I had pointed the camera back to the west in the beginning because this train, 20Q, was hammering up track 2 with one of those SD70 ACC rebuilds doing the honors. These things have grown on me after a while, and I'm starting to like them a lot more than I used to.
jack my ISO all the way up to 30.
Surprisingly enough, this intermodal was pretty short, so I thought I was going to be able to get the whole train. But while shooting the helpers, my phone died, so it took some time to charge that, and I ended up shooting out the windshield for the last train of the day, which was eastbound Manifest 36A. I later found out that this was the train that had been stopped at Johnstown because of the weather, and they had rolled up here to Crescent and recrewed. By the time 36A's helpers came up, the rain was showing no signs of stopping and the light was fading quick, so we decided to call it a night and head for the hotel in Altoona. We missed the R.J. Corman birdseed train on the way out, but we called it a minor loss because it was completely dark and was really hard to see. The next day would see us tackle the middle division between Altoona and Harrisburg, so stay tuned for that video because it's coming very soon.